touring around, two things that were really, just struck me about Bob. One was that he could explain why the cup sizes of the cola were this size and what the profitability level of it, of a 15 ounce was versus a 12 ounce, and just take such joy in understanding that, explaining that. At the same time, Bob was also, as we were going around, as he was running Six Flags this time, he'd see a cup or a piece of litter thrown on the ground, he'd stop and pick it up and put it in the trash. His sense of ownership and pride was so great. And it's like one of our motorcycle trips across the country, we were stopping somewhere, we had to stop in some small town in Colorado because he had to meet with the owners of the 3 local radio stations and talk about ad sales and all that stuff. I mean, Bob, the ad sales are worth only, you know, if you can't sell a commercial minute here for $150 at the grocery store. But he was so into it, and he just loves it. Bob is just one of these people who has the love of life about him, in which it seems as if every bit of what he deals with, runs across, is into, does, is some kind of source of joy and wonder and amazement to be able to discover it all, to eat it up. He has an appetite for life, all of it, and all its little bits and pieces, messy otherwise, and loves doing it. Loves the fun parts, loves the challenge parts, loves the emotional parts, loves what satisfies his soul, and he doesn't hesitate to go grab what it is that he loves and what he enjoys. It means that go in all areas. I mean, in that exuberance about Bob and that love of what he does and his enthusiasm for it, his appetite for life is what is things that is so infectious about him and makes you want to be around him, and makes the pleasure of his company and the pleasure of being part of what he does so great. Well, there's one great story. We would have the route mapped out in advance, be carefully mapped out between Sheldon and Bob with a little input from me. And then reservations were made at our potential stopping points every 200 or 300 miles across the country. And they, as you go across the country, they would range from starting like, there's a proper hotel in Philadelphia, and then you start going down to motor courts and hotels, and they get worse, kind of like seedier as you get across the country, or less glamorous. Not all, but always indoors. And always a pleasure. But my favorite of them all was on the first trip, we stopped in Yankton, South Dakota, and we had a reservation at one restaurant before getting there. And so we passed that restaurant, we saw another one that we wanted to go to. So we checked into where we were staying, which was a kind of motel, as it were, with a swimming pool on the outskirts of Yankton, but no phones in the rooms, no televisions, nothing like that. So to make a phone call, you had to go to the front desk. Long story short, I go to the clerk in the front desk. And the backstory here is, of course, as we go across the country, everybody has stopped shaving, getting seedier and seedier, wearing kerchiefs and scarves, and everybody's getting to looking more and more like they're raggedy, you know, Hell's Angel fantasy. They want to be rugged bikers on the road. So I go to the clerk who's running the place and says, look, could you make a phone call to this Chinese restaurant and say that we're canceling because we want to go to this pizza restaurant? So he says, sure, we'll do. So he gets on the phone and says, hello, Bill. I'm in a group of executive bikers here. Character, crazy. I mean, Bob is just plain fucking fun.